Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Profit Minds podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Stephen 𝐘𝐨𝐿, creator of the Profit Minds Growth System, a unique blend of profit growth, productivity acceleration, and building robust business process for scale. In every episode, I interview entrepreneurs and small business owners from around the world with a unique story to tell. You can find the show on YouTube, LinkedIn, Apple and Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and more. Hello, everyone. Today, my guest is Dr. Jon Randall, founder of Extraordinary Financial Advisors and a recently minted PhD in performance psychology. Today, we're going to talk about how to grow and scale a business. Welcome, Jon.
Thank you, Dr. Steve. It is awesome to be here.
Yeah. So, first question I ask everybody, tell us your story. How did you get here?
I help financial advisors scale their practices far beyond what they thought possible with enhanced growth and profitability, which would be a big topic today. They have common constraints that are ceilings to them growing to the next level. So over the past 21 years, my team and I have coached hundreds of advisors who've doubled their business in 24 months, 10x their business in 5 to 7 years. So how did I get into this? I was one of them. I was an advisor. I started in 1999, fresh out of college. I looked like I was 12 years old. And being an advisor myself, I kept seeing the same problems in myself and in my peers. Advisors just hitting a ceiling, working harder, not scaling. And it pushed me to study more about human performance at a much deeper level, which eventually led to working on my doctorate in performance psychology. But it also helped build what we call at Extraordinary Financial Advisors, XFA for short, our growth system. So these common constraints that we constantly see with financial advisors that holds them back from growing to the next level, it kind of comes down to them working on the wrong things. So these lessons are very applicable to any entrepreneur that's listening here. Of course, I'm hyper-focused on the independent financial advisor business, or RIAs. And today my mission is really to help not only those growth-oriented financial advisors build extraordinary practices and to scale them with more profitability, a little bit less stress, but also to help entrepreneurs in general learn some of the things that we've learned in our journey and just share it with the world.
Yeah. So what are the top 2 or 3 things that they work on that they shouldn't be working on?
Yeah. So we constantly get financial advisors that come to us and they say, we want to be like those ones that you work with. So we're fortunate enough to work with some of the Barron's top 100 ranked advisors, multiple of them, including the number 5 ranked. And so people look at them and say, gosh, I want to be like them. What the heck did they do to get there? So they come to us and say, would you show me how to acquire practices? Would you show me how to acquire a lot of new clients? So we get these requests, but when you peel back the end of what's going on, that's not their issue as acquiring more clients. They have these other constraints that they're missing. So a lot of the research in our industry, Cerulli does a lot of research in the financial advisor industry. They report that 91% of financial advisors report that too many clients is hurting their productivity. And you pull that onion back further, Fidelity's done some studies that indicated more than half of financial advisors, their clients are not profitable. So they have too many of the wrong clients that are really clogging up their system. So if advisors come to me and say, well, I want to get a lot of new clients. All right, well, 73% of new clients are coming from a referral from an existing client. So if they're not getting a lot of them, something's wrong in delivery. What are they doing with their clients? And you peel back the onion. This is the number one constraint. Too many clients, too many of the wrong clients, and everyone's overlooking it.
So you recommend they fire clients?
So one of my favorite studies is the investment news study. It goes really, really deep on these practices. And it basically says the same thing every year, that financial advisor practices are getting full. So there's a lot of demand for financial advice. There's a lot. More and more wealth is growing in America, and people are seeking advice. What the heck do I do? And not just how to invest their money or manage their money. It's the deeper things, right? How can I retire and stay retired? Taxes, legacy estate planning, healthcare costs, all these things really tie together. So people are seeking advice on all these things. But you look at the complexity of that and how advisors can help. It's amazing, but there's a shortage of advisors. So I mentioned I started in 1999. I go to conferences for advisors. I speak at conferences a lot. I still feel like I'm the youngest person in the room. There's just not that many younger advisors around. So McKinsey did a study. They said there's going to be a 100,000 advisor shortage. There's only 300 some thousand now. So it's just a natural conundrum in our industry. So this investment news study I love, they say practices are getting filled up. They're getting filled up, and that stunts growth. And so the ones that are growing, yes, they're reducing their client base, they're raising their floor, and some are starting to charge more, which also filters people out. So really for any business that's hitting a ceiling, getting clogged up, I mean, that's really a universal way that you could get out to focus more on the more profitable clients and increase your pricing.
Yeah. Yeah. So the number one thing you said was that they have too many of the wrong kinds of clients, right? That's the first bottleneck. What's the second? What's the next one?
So it flows, and that leads to the second problem is they have below average revenue per client. So it's difficult to drive a profit margin, right? Especially if you're scaling with other people on your team. The real secret to driving, profits really in any business. And I think of scaling as building a business beyond the founder, right? If you're out there and your business is just you, it's really just a job, right? You're doing all the jobs yourself. But if you're going to invest in other people in your team, okay, you're on a scaling path. And when you get to other people on your team, you're making a big investment into them. You need to generate a return on the investment in those. So that to me is how you drive profit margin in a business. But I think this is where psychology comes into play here, is especially in the financial advisor world, which probably any entrepreneur could relate to this aspect. There's things we learn in the beginning that get us to a certain point that become a ceiling, and it's different things that get us to the next point. So probably the biggest thing I learned about psychology is just how we are as humans. And one of the things I learned is that our brain really craves equilibrium. So when something different comes along, our brain says, that's not the way we do things around here. We do it this way. So we all have preferences. Think about with food, right? If you prefer steak, you've never eaten raw fish, sushi would be not your preference. You're not going to like that around here. And I had a friend a really, really long time ago help me try sushi and said, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Now it's one of my favorite foods, right? So it's uncomfortable to go to that extreme. So our brain's going to tell us to stay here. So in the financial advisor business, when we're new, it's more clients, more assets. That's all we're trained to do. It's more. We have to do marketing. We have to do more effort. We have to do more things to get more clients and help more people. But that model only takes you to a certain point, and that's why most advisors get stuck. In fact, it's only single-digit percentage. It's around like 6% of advisors ever exceed $1 million in revenue. And you get down to why. This is it. Now, some people just don't want to grow beyond that. They're making a comfortable living, and that's perfectly fine. But most never exceed multiple millions. We work with practices doing over 10 million, over 100 million in revenue. They didn't start there. They all started at zero, but they learned how to think differently and think about scaling. That if I make an investment in somebody in my team, I need to go out and get $1 million in revenue for them to manage, pay them an industry average rate, and build a big profit margin on that and duplicate that many times over. That's really that game. That's what some of our larger practices we work with, they get this and they've grown and scaled fast. That's how people 10X in like 5 years. But it's different than, I need to just take on anybody, right? And fill up. And that's why we just run into this problem. So you do that, it really hits the revenue per client because you got too many of the wrong clients. You don't have the time and energy to do what you could be doing with clients, right? To go deeper, provide more services or products, make those available to them. That's one of the easiest ways for financial advisors to grow is to look from within, but they're always looking from without, right? They're like, oh, if I just get more clients, it'll solve all my problems. But it really just compounds their problems. They really need to work through these constraints in order to get freer, do more with clients. Then they're positioned for the growth methods to attract new clients organically or inorganically, which would be acquisitions.
Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like that the other opportunity, the other piece of that, right? Of course, if you're providing that higher level of service to that fewer number of clients, that they are more likely to refer you. And again, that's where you said what, 73% of
Yeah.
your new clients come from?
Yeah,
Uh,
it's amazing. So 73% from referrals from existing clients, 24% come from referrals from other professionals like a CPA or an attorney, and it's only 3% are all other methods combined. So many advisors are just caught up in, oh, there's a shiny new object. Maybe this will work for me. Maybe if I start doing like social media posts, I'll suddenly get a lot of new clients. And it doesn't work. So it's really in these fundamentals where it can work. So I'll give you some proof on this. We host a really big workshop with all the advisors we coach. It's multiple hundred advisors from all over the country. They come in, and we do them at different locations around the country. Usually in April, usually late April, we hold this event. And this past April, we featured on a panel 4 different advisors that are all attracting over 100 million in new assets organically. 2 of them over 250 million in new assets, all organically. So we pretty much interview them and say, oh my gosh, how on earth could you do this? Because in terms of financial advisors, there's not a lot of financial advisors that even manage 100 million over the course of their career. And to have that coming in, every single year, it's quite a feat. But they all really said the same thing. Now, we've been working with them for a while, so we've overcome the constraints of capacity. We've helped them do more with their very best clients. And at this point, what happens almost every time, those best clients that feel the upgrade, they just refer people just like them. It just starts. So all of them said the same thing, that we don't really do anything for marketing. We're just really good at helping our best clients. That's pretty much all the, farthest we've got. And it's just leading to so many new clients, and they're the type of people we help best. So it's gotten easier and easier for them to deliver, because it's like, oh my gosh, these people are just like, that the people we're best at helping. So delivery becomes easier. They get better and better and better. They can focus and kind of niche down on what they do much easier. And it's a lot easier for them to become known in a smaller pond, as opposed to being like, a small fish in the giant ocean of financial advisors. So it's really quite simple when you break it down, what really works here, which could also work for any entrepreneur to really grow and scale and explode quickly. It's really in these fundamentals of what you do for existing people can lead to so much new business out there with new people.
yeah. So you mentioned that the prediction is that we're going to be short financial advisors going forward. How
Really
how
are.
how, how do you advise your clients to overcome that problem?
Yeah, so there's a book that I enjoy. There's an author I enjoy named Dr. Ben Hardy, wrote a lot of wonderful books
Yeah, I know
with
him.
Dan
Yeah.
Sullivan.
Yeah.
And his most recent one is The Science of Scaling. And there's a couple things that they talk about there. One of the concepts is raise the floor. So same thing as this investment news study. What are the practices doing that are growing? They're raising the floor. So they're just saying, listen, to be a client in our firm, it just has to be a certain level and above. And that level is growing. And I like some of these studies because like investment news goes super deep. I mean, it's hundreds of pages of massive detail on practice metrics, their financials, all kinds of, what are they paying people? It's incredible. So it's a nice tool for us to use and help practices learn what the heck's going on out there. Because everyone's on an island in the financial advisor industry. It's hard to know what others are doing. So we try and simplify it for them and give them the shortcuts. So you peel back what's going on in there in some of these things. They've started to publish what are the minimums, the minimum revenue levels that firms are having to accept new clients. And so to work with a client, to keep a client, to accept a new client, just the floor is going up. So I've been saying for years that for an American to access a financial advisor, you're just going to have more and more, or be willing to pay more and more. Ironically, this McKinsey study I mentioned, it came out in February of this year in 2025. And very soon after, I mean, weeks after, Fortune magazine came out with an article that said, if you don't have a financial advisor, you better get one now, because they're going to get filled up. And it even went to details of like what to look for, that you should find someone that actually charges for advice, because you're going to get better advice that's separate from your asset management. It was really neat to see that a quick follow-up and a quick article right there based on, hey, the number of them is declining, you better get on it. But it's raising the floor. We can't be everything to everyone, but we can be really great with a select few, so that those that are growing the fastest, they kind of narrow their focus on their best clients. Who do they help best? It's too hard to be everything to everyone. It just is. But you can be really good at helping a smaller group and going deep in that niche or target and really being something special to those people. So it's raising the floor, but it's also just narrowing the focus. That's really helped these practices grow at exponential rates very quickly.
Yeah. Is there anything that a financial advisor could do to bring on additional help? That is to say, the problem is, okay, we're going to be 100,000 short. Can I figure out how to train people or recruit people, or is that part of what you do as well? Because if that's a fundamental constraint, I mean, obviously you can raise your rates only so much.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
But you need to have more capacity for,
really
to get to 100 million. You're going to, it's not one person, right?
You're exactly right. So there's really two models that we see. If you look at the top 100 advisors in the industry, there's two models going on. And this is the same, I think, for entrepreneurs too. You've got what I call the boutique model, and then you've got a scaling model. So the boutique model is, I don't want to have a ton of team members. I don't want to have 100 advisors on my team. I'm going to keep it simple. And these are very, very highly profitable businesses. They tend to work with higher quality clients, and they just keep raising the floor. Right. So we work with many that run a boutique model, and their just average client just keeps going up. So they find a home for other clients. As they bring on a really good client, they can get rid of a bunch of smaller clients and just kind of go deeper with them. So that's a model. It's not typical, though. I see advisors struggle to really get to some very high quality clients. They kind of work with the typical average American client. So the average client of a financial advisor has around 1.5 million with them in assets. And that client produces a little over 10,000 in revenue for that business, for that advisor's business. So in that case, I see more scaling being the option. So you're right. It's, hey, we need more financial advisors that can talk to clients. And so capacity is an interesting two-sided coin. It's the founder, right, or the owner being filled up. That is the first constraint. But if they're going to scale, the other side of capacity is leveraging the capacity of their people. So on average, a financial advisor working for a firm, and I'm talking about, they're not going out and building their own book. They're coming in and servicing clients of the firm. The firm's handing them clients, saying, here you go. We're going to compensate you a lot. We're going to give you the opportunity to, grow your income, grow your base, bonus potential. So it's still entrepreneurial in a sense, but they have kind of a floor in what they're going to make. But you've got, on average, these advisors are managing $1 million in revenue for those firms. So when I see a common mistake of a founder says, I'm going to bring in an advisor and I'm just going to dump my small clients on them. All right. It's the first instinct everyone has, and it's the first mistake they all make. So sure, I like that founder is a little bit freer, right? I think that's great, but they will never, ever drive a profit margin on the investment in that because there's just not enough revenue in dumping the smaller clients on them that they'll ever generate a return on it. So now they're in purgatory from a profit margin perspective with this advisor. And you know what? Two things happen. One, either the advisor's going to leave because it's frustrating, or two, they never ever learn how to work with a client that has multiple millions, which is probably, the bigger need in America. They have more complexity. They need more advice, as opposed to a really small client that probably doesn't need that much. So those that we help see, oh, this is the game. So it's like another level of the game, right? If you're scaling, it's like, okay, what you did to build it to $1 million or a couple million got you to this point, but to scale it to another level, you need to attract a lot quickly. You need to attract another $1 million in revenue, when you make an investment in somebody to be profitable with them. And you can duplicate that over and over and over, which has led to some of these firms saying, well, we can organically attract it, but we can also inorganically attract it. So an advisor can go out and buy $1 million or 1.5 million from a retiring advisor, right? And then load up their existing advisors to run that book and duplicate it over and over. So most of the Barron's top 100 we work with, they've been more on a scaling path, and they've just, been able to acquire multiple times on the front end. They're bringing in a lot organically and inorganically in the front end, and they are hiring and training new advisors to handle capacity. Some will bring them in right out of college. There are a lot of university programs that are teaching more of financial advisor skills. Some of them come out with basically everything that's needed to get the most idolized designation, the Certified Financial Planner, or CFP for short. They just need 5 years of experience in the industry to get it, but they have all the coursework done. They've done, so they're super knowledgeable. So we have some, they're usually near a university or just have access to students. Some are bringing them in, training them from new, and they have really good training programs. Or some are saying, you know what, there's probably advisors out there that don't want to go and hustle and build their book. They would rather just work with clients and not have to go out and find them. There's a lot of those. That's a majority of advisors out there. So there is a combo of developing their own and saying, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Advisor that's struggling out there, come in here. We got too many clients. Once you come in here, we'll load you up. All you have to do is just worry about servicing clients. You can go home at 5 o'clock. You don't have to do dinner seminars or meet with CPAs or try and hustle to try and get new business. They don't have to worry about it. And it's a win-win for all parties.
Great. Yeah. What about this is one of the challenges that I have with my clients. I'm trying to get them to scale. The solo advisor who wants to now build a serious practice. I refer to the challenge of the CEO being the chief everything officer, and they're not willing to give up control. And what if that person doesn't do it as well as I could? Or, do you run into that trouble? And how do you overcome it?
So much. It's all those things that financial advisors, the biggest is when it comes to dealing with clients. So the biggest is, how on earth could they ever be as good as me? Which they probably won't be, but
maybe
then the
they'll be
other
better.
fear, they could be, yeah. But the other fear is, what if they get to know all these clients and they take them? Right? That's the other fear. So it just requires different thinking. And I think it goes back to that psychology, that this is the way we do things around here. That thinking's totally different. So I tell these advisors, especially those that come in new to XFA, that it's different thinking that got you here. It's totally different thinking that's going to get you to the next level. You're never really going to go from $1 million to 10 million with it being about you. It's got to be about other people on your team, specifically other financial advisors on your team. So you have to psychologically let go. Yes, you can protect your business with some agreements so people, don't take clients, kind of thing. But it really goes back to the roots of psychology, because I would talk about these best practices until I was blue in the face and just people weren't doing it, and they would just be stuck, and I couldn't figure out why. And it just was like, okay, it's in here. It's not really the tactic or the best practice. It's in here. They're limiting themselves. They're holding themselves back with these very common constraints. So they have to find ways to let go. And that's where one-on-one personal coaching sets in and helps them overcome those kind of changes, right? I mean, you go through that too. It's helping them get from, all right, that strategy got you here, but you can't be chief everything officer. There's a small number of things to do. And I reference a book a lot that helps them with this. I really enjoy Dan Martell. He's got a book called Buy Back Your Time. And so he kind of gives a progression of what you should let go of. Like first of course, like administrative stuff, like calendaring, your email. But then next is delivery. So I know in the financial advisor business, the most time consuming thing is talking to clients. So if an owner's caught up talking to clients all day, every day, it's going to be hard to grow the business, right? They're the growth engine. They're clogged up. So they've got to get freer of that. And then as they get freer, then they can really expand and think differently. But delivery, it takes so much time. And so when they start to let go of it, they have time. And you know what? There's a direct correlation to the businesses that we work with that grow the fastest. And it simply goes down to the owners that get freer faster, they grow faster. It's like so simple. People ask me, hey, how are these people grow so quickly? What trick do they have? What silver bullet in marketing are they using that I'm not? And it's really pretty simple. It's just capacity. When these owners who are growth engines, they get free and they can fly, these businesses take off. They really do. But it's just different thinking, right? Because it goes back to what got you here won't get you there.
Yeah, you got to spend time working on the business instead of just in it.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
And there's a balance, of course, right? And because most of them, I'm guessing they got into the business because they enjoy the client work,
Yes, yes.
right?
It doesn't
And
mean that they have to eject from it, right? The now the number 5 ranked advisor in the whole country. It's a wonderful person. It's actually my training manager. My wife's from New York. That's where I started as an advisor in New York before we moved to North Carolina in 2004. But it's been probably around 15 years since he has sat in a client meeting, because he's working on growing and scaling the business is what it's important to him. Now, it doesn't mean you have to completely eject from that. We have many 8-figure firms that have 10X that the owner still enjoys it. They still enjoy working with some clients. So the average owner in the industry is still working with some clients, but it's less than 100 clients. Whereas the advisors on their team are working with 150, 200 clients, quality clients they're working with. So they're just working with less. It doesn't mean they're out, but they just have more time to work on the business or do the growth activities to organically bring in the business or inorganically work those acquisition opportunities.
yeah. So, what what's the best way for somebody to start down this path?
I think it's learning what do so many others, that have done this before, what exactly did they do? And my joy in what we do at Extraordinary Financial Advisors, we call it XFA for short, is really creating the shortcuts. That here's the path to bypass all the problems you're going to run into, because so many people have already made all the mistakes, and they're going to show you, I made this mistake. Don't do what I did. We've compiled that and really simplified it for financial advisors that really want to grow and scale their practice quickly. We've got the shortcuts. So we show advisors a path to grow and to really get there quickly and to bypass all the problems they're going to run into that they might not even know about. And one of our favorite ways to do it, obviously I'm really passionate about this business.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah. we host 1-day workshops. And in those workshops, we really dig into, okay, what are your constraints that are holding you back? What is your growth potential to get to the next level? And what are your steps that you're going to get there? It's one of my favorite things to do because the light bulbs go off and it kind of simplifies that. Oh, I was trying to work on these 20 things and pulling my hair out because there's so much effort. I wasn't really growing. It just simplifies it for them. And they break through all the clutter and they get down to, this is going to help my business grow. It's one of the favorite things that we do. So people can come to our workshops and just learn and go implement on their own. But it's a lot of those people that want help with implementation. They want coaching from myself or my team members. We have a lot of coaches we've developed over the years. Some of them were clients who grew their business and they sold it to someone else we're working with. That's a lot of our coaches that we have. They want to help other advisors go through the journey that they went through. And so then we customize it to them. There's a lot of fundamentals and best practices and common things we see, but every business is different, right? You see the same thing. Every business is so different. So it's really that customization of here's your opportunity and here's where you're looking to go, which is unique in your practice. And we're going to help you get there faster than you could on your own.
Yeah, that's great. So you have a free gift for our listeners?
Yeah, attend one of our XFA scaling workshops, we call them. So we have an easy link. You can check it out and attend one of these. They're really fun. You can even hear from some people on the landing page that have been through it. A couple of them are Barron's top 100 advisors. They weren't always there, but they've 10x'd and 100x'd their businesses using this pretty simple stuff that we've talked about. But we try to cut through the clutter of our industry, make it easy for you to get down to what's going to help you grow. So come check out one of our workshops, click on the link, and we'd love to have you there.
Yeah, we'll make sure the link's in the show notes.
Awesome.
And if somebody wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way for that? That they want to get just, outside of that workshop is a good way to
Our website is easy. We have a real simple website, xfa.coach. And if you go on there, there's free stuff. You can book a call with someone on our team if you want, or want to register for a workshop. It's all right there. So free resources, you can talk to somebody, you can check out one of our one-day workshops. It's all right there. It's an easy place to go. So xfa.coach.
Great. And that concludes our show. Thanks so much to my guest, Dr. Jon Randall, the founder of Extraordinary Financial Advisors, XFA, and a recently minted PhD in performance psychology. I hope you learned something about how to grow and scale your business. I know I did. Thanks for listening. You've been listening to the Profit Minds podcast. This is your host, Dr. Stephen 𝐘𝐨𝐿. Please visit www.profitminds.net for other episodes or to contact me. Thank you for your positive feedback, comments, questions, and for sharing this show with others. Thanks for listening. Have a grateful day.